second match on show court 2 today. Indonesia against Korea, and as you can see, Son Wan-ho took the opening match, and then Gideon and Sakamuljo leveled the tie at 1 match apiece in this race to 3 wins here. Who's going to come through and earn themselves a seeded berth in the knockout draw tomorrow? Both these teams are safely into tomorrow's knockout draw. There's no doubt in it, having topped their group, but now we're playing to see who's going to decide as the group winner from this match and get that preferential treatment. Certainly will have earned it. Next up, men's singles, Jonatan CHRISTIE goes up against HEO Kwang Hee of Korea, and then we'll have men's doubles action and another men's singles thereafter. So when we get down to the knockout stages, of course, as soon as the team gets to 3, we stop play, just to give them a little bit of a breather, frankly, as they approach the business end of the tournament. But for now, we're going to be treated to all 5 matches. And that's not it. There's going to be a 7 o'clock session, of course, tonight, as there has been over the other 3 days that we've brought you our live continuing coverage here. So there we have our 2 athletes taking to centre stage on their way out. Jonatan CHRISTIE making his debut showing here. Didn't play in the opening 2 matches. The 20-year-old, born and bred in Jakarta, 5'10". And well, he's up against HEO Kwang Hee, who's just 22 years old, resides in Seoul. A member of the national team since 2012 is HEO. There he is, looks rather nervous, doesn't he? He lost to Kantaphon Wangcharoen from Thailand in straight games in the only match that he's played. So both men rightly will be nervous because they've not had that much exposure out here, particularly Jonatan CHRISTIE. But what's interesting, this is CHRISTIE's nemesis, isn't it? As you look at that head-to-head there. HEO Kwang Hee has won the last 2 matches that these two have met in. Last meeting was in the Australian Open. And that really is quite something. But I do have to say that that meeting was back in June a couple of years ago. And a lot of water has passed under the bridge with the development of Jonatan CHRISTIE's game. Well, he's ranked 11th, and some of you might say, well, hang on, shouldn't he be playing number 1 then, above Ginting at 13 in the world? But of course, as a very reputable source told me in Jill Clark, that, you know, the rankings were done and taken from when the teams were entered. And he was number 2 back then. So that's how it stands. Not selected for the opening 2 ties. I'm not entirely sure why. It might have been injury, I don't know. But there we are. He's fresh legs for the Indonesians, and they'll really need it, you think, against this tough Korean side, because it was the Koreans that took out the Chinese 2 years ago. But let's attend this man first. HEO Kwang Hee. He's 22 years of age, from South Korea, Seoul, and that's his run so far. Took out Antonio Lee of Canada in straight games, just over half an hour played, then lost to Kantaphon Wangcharoen, just over 40 minutes in that one. It's going to be interesting, isn't it? Will Jonatan CHRISTIE be scarred as we say hello to umpire Christoph Ozabold and the service judge Paul Buffum of England, working in tandem. Yeah, Jonatan CHRISTIE, will he be put off by the fact that he's lost twice to this opponent? I'm sure he'll be desperate to set the record straight. You never know, he might have even seen this young man on their books and thought, I could have a go against him. So building up to our 3rd match here in this Indonesian-Korean tie, playing for the win in Group B and seeding status in the knockout draw upcoming, starting tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. It's all going to turn around very late this evening. The draw will be done probably after midnight, and then we'll all get to know who's doing what, who's playing who thereafter.
On my right,
the early hours.
Korea, represented by HEO Kwang Hee. left Indonesia, represented by Jonatan CHRISTIE. Korea to serve. Love all. Play.
Attention, please do not use flash when taking photos. Please do not use flash when taking photos. Thank you. ขอความกรุณาทุกท่านงดใช้แฟลชตลอดการแข่งขันครับขอบคุณครับขอความกรุณาทุกท่านงดใช้แฟลชตลอดการแข่งขันครับขอบคุณครับ
Well, when Jonatan CHRISTIE lost to this guy, HEO Kwang Hee, a couple of years ago, he was ranked around 50 in the world. He was knocking on the door of the top 50. His highest was 53 in October 2016. 22-year-old. Rankings dropped a little since. But he's still kept at 85 or so in the world, very respectably. He's played 13 matches this year and won 9 of them, lost 4, so he's a pretty handy player. Semi-finals of the US Open for HEO, and semi-finals of the recent New Zealand Open as well. Round of 16 China Masters too, so pretty good late showing for the Korean.
Over. 1-2.
Jonatan CHRISTIE, we know all about him. Twice silver medalist at the Junior World Championships in 2013 and 14, of course. He's fast closing in on his lifetime goal of being a top 10 player, just one spot away, knocking on the door.
It's over.
3 recent runner-up showings for the Indonesian, the New Zealand Open, Korean Open and the Thailand Open as well. A couple of quarterfinals as well recently, the German Open, Malaysian Masters, and 6 round of 16 showings. He's a very talented, strong athlete. Powerful frame. Indeed, it's a very explosive match from the off. Can they keep up the high pace and be relatively error-free? That's the ask. He's got big court presence, this lad. Really feels bigger than he is because of his roars at the end of points that he wins. Well, that's a really quick close from CHRISTIE. Stocky build, power-laden Indonesian. Use of the thumb on that backhand net kill as he draws level here. So match nicely poised, 1-1 in the tie and 4-4 in this opening game of match number 3. As we thought, we knew it would be a nervy nail biter, and it's lived up to its billing so far. Look where the body weight was going after that.
On court 1, Uber Cup Group A, between Japan and India.
Couple of unforced errors then from Jonatan CHRISTIE, and maybe he is just a little sort of disturbed by the roars from his opponent every point that he wins. He's a kind of in-your-face type of guy, isn't he? HEO. Good leave there, very drift aware.
Represented by Nosumi Okuhara. India, represented by Vaishnavi Reditaka.
Oh, the errors spilling thick and fast from Jonatan CHRISTIE right now, and HEO far more intact.
Fabio Lopez from Brazil.
สนามที่ 1 ประเภททีมหญิงกลุ่ม A ระหว่างประเทศญี่ปุ่นและประเทศอินเดียหญิงเดี่ยวมือ 2 ประเทศญี่ปุ่นตัวแทนคือโนซุมิโอคุฮาระ
Super turnaround from the Korean. That was just gladiatorial right there.
จากประเทศเบลเยียมกรรมการกำกับการส่งลูกฟาบิโอโลเปสจากประเทศบราซิล
Look at that, just flat hard forehand right through Jonatan CHRISTIE. He's made that as well, but CHRISTIE wants to go upstairs with the challenge. He's got that Indonesian swagger, hasn't he? Rather like Anthony Ginting. Nice and relaxed between points. That's what it's all about. To relax and regenerate some energy.
Out. Service over.
Now it's a good challenge from him.
9.
But he's been up against it of late. And I don't think he likes when his Korean opponent is staring down the court at him. It's quite an aggressive vibe from this young man. And it's unsettling Jonatan CHRISTIE, you sense. That's a big hit.
So it's over 10-6. Service over 7-10.
Did really well here, the Korean, to respond to the net cord. Look at that, quick to get that up, but just sat a little too high. That was unlucky. CHRISTIE quick to put that one to bed. Well, now there's a great example of not being very drift aware, having not played a match. So on his debut showing. So the initial advantage then for HEO Kwang Hee, 11 points to 7. So plenty to ponder then. A very awkward customer, this man here, who understands about the psychology of the game and handles himself very, very well in this gladiatorial kind of arena.
11-7.
Media spotlight glaring down brightly on both these athletes to see who's going to come through. Pressures of playing for their nation as well. Don't want to let anybody down. Oh, that's nice.
It's over 8-11.
Well done, managing to rush HEO into error.
11.
It was the shot prior that got the upper hand in the point. It was wonderful. Right there, look at that. Just pushes it along, thinks about a challenge, does Christie, but elects not to.
On court 4, Thomas Cup Group B.
Service over.
Between Thailand and
10,
Canada.
12.
First doubles, Thailand, represented by Giti Nupong Gateway and Nechapon Puamadhanukroh. Canada, represented by Jason Anthony Hoshu and Liu Yakura.
Service over. 13, 10.
Umpire, Jonatan from Australia. Service judge, Stefan Bennett from France.
สนามที่ 4 ประเภททีมชายกลุ่ม B ระหว่างประเทศไทยและประเทศแคนาดาชายคู่มือ 1 ประเทศไทยตัวแทนคือกิตินุพงษ์เกตเรนและเดชาพลบัววรานุเคราะห์ประเทศแคนาดาตัวแทนคือเจสันแอนโทนีโฮชูและดิวยากุระกรรมการผู้ตัดสินชี้เส้นบัตรจากประเทศออสเตรเลียกรรมการกำกับการส่งลูกสเตฟานเบนจากประเทศฝรั่งเศส
11, 13.
Wonderful piercing straight smash from the Indonesian. That was cool, calm and collected.
Service over. 14, 11. Jonatan.
Nicely done, delicate touch. Extending his lead, HEO. You now get a really good sense of why this man's been so effective. And his ranking really doesn't belie the talent of the man, that's for sure. Down at 78th in the world, has been knocking on the door of the top 50, but that's kind of where he belongs, you there or thereabouts anyhow. And psychologically, he's just beating up Jonatan CHRISTIE with these guttural roars every point that he plays. He's a show monster, and it's getting in the face of this man and unsettling him. They're enjoying what they're seeing. Buoyed by the win from Son Wan Ho to give their team the initial point.
It's over. 12-80.
He's only engineered a couple of runs of 2, has Jonatan CHRISTIE in this match, nothing more than that. He's pushed that long as well, and that's frustrating at that stage, right through the belly of game 1. As his opponent has engineered a run of 5 consecutive.
20 game point, 12.
8 game points for HEO.
So it's over 13-20.
Two game points
14,
saved.
20.
Surely he can't do the impossible, can he, Christie? Just been a little too sporadic so far this afternoon, his performance, very in and out. Well, probably the fact that he's just still getting used to the surroundings here, really, having not played a match.
Hold. 15-20.
3 saved, 5 to go. Well, might HEO get a little nervous now? Who knows? He had 20-12 stranglehold on this. That's 4 consecutive points at the business hour in this opening game. Make that 5.
17-20.
Christie drilling down to find his very best in the last 5 minutes or so. There's a real urgency about his movement now. Can he draw level? Well, you wouldn't put him past him. Too little too late from Jonatan CHRISTIE, and he succumbs in the opener to HEO Kwang Hee, 21-17.
점프가 짧다 싶으면 오른쪽 하는 게 좋고, 그리고 왼쪽 제일 왼쪽이 좀 짧게 가요. 빠지지 말고 해야 되겠죠.
지금 아마 포인트 쪽으로 많이 공격을 할 거야. 자세 좀 낮춰. 자세 올라가면
많이 오른쪽. 그렇지.
자세 낮춰갖고 약간 능이면 돼.
그리고 지금 막 마지막 랠리처럼 왼쪽에서 너무 크로스 안 하는 거. 지금 마지막 랠리 중간으로 하도
Kamu semangat, yakin. Nah itu pola gini bukan soal menawar. Iya dong. Kalau kamu gimana? Ya dong. Tunggu poin nggak boleh. Depan kamu bukan selama kamu dulu nanti kemana kan sampai. Tapi kadang kamu mau nonton bukan 67 deh lebar lari tangan dulu. Toh sekali kamu depan. Ini ke depan lagi. Ya. Ya.
한참 잘 올라갈 때 어디서 죽순 섹스에 클로도 하고 괜찮단 말이야. 이쪽에선 한번 초반 한번 조금 잘 나가는 경향이 있으니까 처음에 컨트롤 한번 네가 한번 느껴봐봐. 아웃 날 수도 있지만 아웃 나면 바꿔주는 거야.
Well, he might be 11th ranked in the world, Jonatan CHRISTIE, but HEO Kwang Hee doesn't have the utmost respect in the way that he's playing and chewing every point that he wins. But CHRISTIE will be buoyed by the fact that he's had a good recent passage of play there towards that back end of the opening game, and he'll be looking to turn this around. It's a must-win game for the Indonesians at this stage, you would imagine. 1-1 in this overall tie. If you are joining us, welcome along. Korea against Indonesia. They lost in the semi-final stage last year to the Indonesians, did the Koreans. So desperate to avenge that defeat of a couple of years ago in Kunshan, China. But this man, he's acquitting himself extremely well given his ranking gulf between the two.
Service over. 1-all.
Yeah, that was loaded with venom. Well done. Whatever you can do, suggests HEO Kwang Hee there. Wonderful straight smash.
Australia, represented by Lim.
Both opting for the compression socks, as lots of players do these days.
Umpire, Lawrence Wester from South Africa. Service judge, Eric Kurt from Denmark.
Again, just struggling with the drift issue is HEO.
3-2.
Wants to stay aggressive, of course, but not at the expense of hammering it out over the back line time and again. Nicely done, the reverse slice, beautifully executed there. Look at the precision here. Finds the line, or just inside.
Service over. 4-3.
Challenge there, HEO. That seems a little strange. It seemed, well, I'm going to put my neck on the line and say pretty well in to me, but let's find out. What does the boss say about it all upstairs? There we are. Making me feel a little better anyway.
One challenge remaining. 5-3.
Excellently taken.
6-3.
Vying for their 14th title at this event, the Indonesians. For the Koreans, big picture stuff, they're 6 times runners-up. Dearly love to go one better. And more poignantly, get revenge on their opponents today, the Koreans. They lost the Indonesians last time. Desperate to avenge that. Keeps getting that a little wrong, as several players have. Indeed, Jonatan CHRISTIE spurned probably 4 or 5 points last game with the drift behind him.
It's over 4-7.
Straight at the body from CHRISTIE.
7.
Reasserting himself here. Oh, that's nice. That is super nice from HEO.
7-all.
CHRISTIE didn't have that one covered. It was absolutely brilliant. Let's see it again. Look at this. Very super disguised. Well, Jonatan CHRISTIE's had a run of 4 consecutive points this game, but as now has HEO. Yeah, that's gone. That's a run of 5 now. He really is taking this one by the scruff of the neck. Coach is gesturing. Desperate for him to hold on here. They'd love to see him do it in straight games. He's absolutely stoked, isn't he? Really enjoying himself out on show court 2 today. Buoyed by the fact that he's beaten Jonatan CHRISTIE a couple of times back in 2016. He really does believe he can do so again now, irrespective of that heady ranking of the Indonesian. Patiently engineered from the wily 11th ranked player in the world. No sense of panic there, despite the 7-point run from HEO Kwang Hee. This is a man who came runner-up to Lindan in the New Zealand Open recently.
Thank you.
Runner-up to Ginting in the Korean Open last year. And Southeast Asian Games champ 2017 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, was CHRISTIE. Beat Kozit Fetpradab to win gold there. Nicely done.
10.
Straight block. Deadlock, game 2. So it's Christie who has his nose in front just by one solitary point in game 2.
For 2, 20 seconds. For 2, 20 seconds. Time. Play. Service over. 11. Oh.
Just edges in front momentarily. HEO Kwang Hee. He would so dearly love to make a statement of intent here and close this out in straight games. That's just gone wide, but I think he's chosen the right way to smash into that sort of slight left to right drift. It kind of makes sense. Far less risky than going the other way, but it's spilt wide nonetheless. Deadlock, game 2. Christie so quick to close that down, straight at his opponent. A thumping heartbeat, acknowledging the fact that somebody elsewhere has challenged. Well, despite Jonatan CHRISTIE looking far more settled at the end that he is playing from now, the Koreans managing to keep the grip on things here. It's in, it's hands down from the lines judge.
14-13.
He's played a much more solid game, Jonatan CHRISTIE. He's settling into this match now. He wants the court wiped. Umpire's saying, no, none of that. Crack on with it, please. All of these players kind of will try it on, you know. And he just wants to quickly towel down, and any opportunity for his opponent to leave the court, he'll grab at the same time. So coach yelling out some instruction to Jonatan CHRISTIE, who's looked far better this side of the court. reading the situation there, Christie, and he got a little tangled as a consequence. Had to play catch-up in the rally, unable to do so. Right there, didn't see that one coming, and he was just a millisecond behind. Let's see it again. Look at this deceptive brilliance from HEO Kwang Hee there, and then the cross smash to finish. Love that slow-mo cam. Look at that.
15-40.
A few psychological games going on. Well played.
Service over.
Short lift, got what it deserved.
15-all.
And again, going for the towel, Christie. Gesturing to umpire that he's drenched and dripping everywhere. Sweating profusely in this warm Impact Arena. That was a misjudgment from HEO.
15.
Perfectly weighted here from Jonatan CHRISTIE. Look at that, just lands right in the corner. And he was backing up, expecting it to come back just in case. And that's about as animated as he gets. Very calm character. Well, he's challenging, but you do sense this is spurned out of desperation. Mind you, he's had a pretty good look at that. Yeah, plumb on.
Challenge unsuccessful, one challenge remaining. Service over. 16
On court 1. River Cup Group A. Between Japan
Tense
and India.
second game, this. Super point from the Korean, kept the pressure on throughout there. That was a couple of really telling strikes. Is that going to be enough to get him home and dry? It certainly gains him the marginal momentum. But as Jonatan CHRISTIE brought his pin to pierce that momentum bubble. Unforced error, 17 all.
17 all.
Well, I don't think it's a question of belief from the Korean. He's full of that, and as he is, guttural roars whenever he wins a point. But and having had 2 wins over this player before, a real stranglehold, he certainly does believe. Now it's whether CHRISTIE, with that lofty ranking of 11th in the world, can get out of jail here. Crunch time right now. Back against the wall stuff.
Switzerland.
สนามที่ 1 ประเภททีมหญิงกลุ่ม A ระหว่างประเทศญี่ปุ่นและประเทศ
The accuracy there was
หญิงคู่มือ 2 ประ
brilliant.
เทศญี่ปุ่นตัวแทนคือชิโฮทานากะและโทารุโยเนมาตะประเทศอินเดียตัวแทนคือวาริสนาวีบาลีและจันทัมบุรีเมคานากรรมการผู้ตัดสินฟาบิโอเมนิโอจากประเทศอิตาลีกรรมการกำกับการส่งลูกยูโรคอนโซจากประเทศ
2 in a row for Christie with his back to the wall. No more negated by HEO Kwang Hee. But still, the Indonesian has the 1-point lead here. And again, the roar tells you that that's spilt over the back line. They love it, the women's team. They've come out in full force to support the men, which is always great. 2 in a row for the roarer. So, match point opportunity here for HEO. Elation breaks out in the Korean camp. They're 2-1 ahead now, courtesy of HEO Kwang Hee. What a terrific display from him. 21-17, 21-19. HEO Kwang Hee safely through to put his team in the lead again against Indonesia. They're desperate to avenge that defeat a couple of years ago, aren't they? You can tell. And he extends his head-to-head lead to 3-0 over this tough opponent.
21-17, 21-19.